happening? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Ringbell Radio. I'm your host, Chris Page. Got one of my two counterparts in the studio today, Sauce Boss. Happy hump day, brother. What's going on, man? How are you?
Happy hump day. I'm doing pretty good here. And I'm ready for another episode from Over the Top. Thank you for tuning in, all you beautiful people out there who are getting caught up on the channel, watching all the great content we got here every day. Today, we're going to be getting into a bit of a spicy topic, the best duos of all time, round two. Chris, I'm jazzed up for it.
I'm
I'm ready to go here.
yeah, we're gonna jump into it in just a second. Be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the fact that John Cable's not with us today. Well, he may be in just a little bit. He may not. We'll see. But I know he'll be back tomorrow to round out the week. Shout out to Mr. Cable. We will miss you on this one, but we're gonna make this happen because Saucy, we had some upsets and we had some interesting happenings from the votes of this 32 duo tournament that you put together. Man, let's go. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's prime the listeners here. For those of you who did not watch the first video, which came out last week, go ahead and give that a listen. There's a part one and a part two where we get into the 32 seeds. We go 1 through 32. And the concept there was Thunder Pro Wrestling is doing a best duos tournament. Well, they're calling it the Sex Cup, the Sports Entertainment Extreme Cup. And it's a tag team tournament. So our thought was, well, let's just do the best duos of all time, not just the best wrestlers. So I put together a list here of what I thought were 32 of the best. And the feedback that I've gotten has been overwhelmingly positive. A few people were unhappy with some names that didn't make the cut in the top 32. So if this is successful and we get a lot of crowd participation here on the votes, I think we may run a not in tournament 32. Chris, you want
I
to chime in
I
on that?
do. I want to know what duos that did not make the cut got got some nods from the listeners.
Well, I owe an explanation to the folks who listened to the last show because Beavis and Butthead was one of the original picks, and they were bumped to make room for Wake and Bake. It's traditionally you have a bubble team who gets that 12 seed in the March Madness tournament. In this case, it was Wake and Bake winning that play-in game versus Beavis and Butthead. So they get booted out. Wake and Bake slides in there, and they just vomit in their own lap there, which tells me Beavis and Butthead deserve to be there. So if we
Mm-hmm.
do run this back, we do an NIT tournament. You're going to see Beavis and Butthead as a 1 seed in that tournament. I have a feeling we could populate that list pretty good, but we're not gonna do it unless the listeners want to see it. If this is the kind of content that you like, let us know, and we would love to get your input. Who should be in the bracket that isn't already there?
Let's let's not dwell on the what ifs. Let's dwell on what we know. And Bud, I guess for those who did not listen and didn't get a chance to vote, we'll run through the bracketing real quick. Sauce, you want to take us through it?
Yeah. We'll start right at the top, and these are my 32. Okay, so if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at me. I came up with the list. I ranked them. I seeded them. So these are purely where I thought things would end up, and the crowd obviously did not agree with me in most of these cases, but it's still a lot of fun anyway. So at that number one seed, we had Milk and Cookies taking on Pen and Paper. Milk and Cookies a no-brainer. Everybody loves Milk and Cookies. Even Santa loves Milk and Cookies. Pen and Paper is an homage to role-playing games in general. I thought I was speaking to our crowd. Clearly not the case. Milk and Cookies wins by a margin of 2-1 here. 64% of the votes go to Milk and Cookies. At a 1 seed, not shocking. I mean, how can you vote against Milk and Cookies?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. You go through them. I'll tell you how I voted because I did vote on all of them as well. And I voted for the underdog in this one. I voted pen and paper, so I was in the 36th percentile.
What is your problem with milk and cookies?
It had
I need to
nothing to
know.
do with milk and cookies and everything to do with knocking out your top picks and trying to knock out as many of them as I could.
So, okay, this is a vote for the worst.com situation. I
No,
understand.
I just
We've got an audience full of trolls who want to take something beautiful and just poop on it. I got you. I
no,
see
actually,
exactly what you're doing here.
I'm seeing several that I voted for that didn't make the second round, and we'll get to those as we cruise through.
Well, good. You probably deserve it then. So,
Little
I'm
shit.
proud to say that the crowd was on the side of the right pick here, Milk and Cookies, the clear choice at number one. Even the terrorists love Milk and Cookies, and they make it through by a margin of 2-1. Convincing win, blowout victory. I do love me some pen and paper, but not as much as I love getting fat. So Milk and Cookies makes it into the round of, how many is that? 8? The Elite 8?
Mm-hmm.
No, that can't be right. Is it right?
Yeah.
I can't tell. There might be a second side to this bracket. Just bear with me, please.
Yeah, there is.
There. Okay. So, okay. So, apologies there. Yes. So they make it into the round of 16, Sweet 16. Milk and Cookies moves on. And if you're watching the video at home, then you're going to be able to see this bracket as we go through. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe if Chris is nice enough, he'll drop in some pictures for everybody. If not, we'll leave a link to the full bracket in the description so you'll be able to follow along on the website. Okay, in the next matchup, we've got a number 17 versus a number 16 seed. And on the Twitter poll, this was labeled incorrectly. Fish and Chips was at 17. Bread and Butter is a 16 seed. It was labeled as an 18 seed, so a little bit of disrespect there. And what we've got is a tie. Dead on tie, 50-50 here. We need a tie-breaking vote. Chris, who did you go with in this one?
The loser, unfortunately. I did go fish and chips on this one, and that's,
So we're split. I went bread and butter. You went fish and chips. But we had to pick somebody here, and what we did was in the tie, we go with the lower seed. So bread and butter makes it through. If you disagree, then you should have voted. Vote early and off.
We didn't necessarily break the tie. Sauce broke it. It's his list.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. If you have a problem, you should have created another account. You should have voted a second time, and you could have got it where it needed to be. So vote as many times as it takes to get what you want in this tournament, right?
Okay.
I know our audience. They have multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Most of them have several.
For sure.
Okay. Next matchup. This is the judges' submission: sausage, biscuits, and gravy versus Ben and Jerry's. And sausage, biscuits, and gravy just dominant win, 80% of the votes. I think this is the most one-sided matchup that we saw. That just proves that more people love a good old-fashioned savory breakfast food over a dessert. And I can't say I disagree. I went sausage biscuits on this one.
Oh yeah, sausage, gravy, and biscuits all the way. That's gonna be a powerhouse. I have a feeling, and we'll talk if we go through the bracketing of round number 2. I feel like sausage, biscuits, and gravy is a dark horse here.
Or is it sausage, biscuits, and gravy, or sausage, gravy, and biscuits?
Sausage, gravy, and biscuits. Sausage with biscuits and gravy with sausage gravy.
So that's clearly my fault. I'm not, even though I have this lovely accent, I'm clearly not far enough south on the map in order to get this right. It's tough to find a nice sausage gravy in Maryland.
Okay. It's okay, bud. We're all learning here.
Alrighty, so
you didn't catch the homage to Phil there? Our buddy,
no, I didn't.
Our buddy Phil, yeah. So we're learning CM Punk, Median Scrum, Tony Khan. It's okay, Tony. We're learning here.
You know, a funny story about CM Punk. I just learned the other day that he was a contestant on MTV's The Challenge, and he is a miserable prick the entire show, and he loses about halfway through. Just
Really?
completely checked out the whole time. They do a celebrity edition where it's CM Punk and Sean Merriman and Lolo Jones and a couple other Olympic athletes. He's a UFC fighter at the time, but he just looks like you know just an average guy. Looks completely out of place and doesn't particularly impress anybody. It's like, oh look, it's Phil, just being Phil. You know, if they had a competition where he had to eat brownies, he probably would have killed it. But everything else is just completely outclassed.
I mean, it's our buddy, CM Punk.
All right, next matchup we had Hall and Oates versus the number 8 seed Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin walks away with this one, 79% of the vote. I love me some Hall and Oates, but it's hard to argue with Batman and Robin. I mean, the iconic duo. What did they call it? The dynamic duo?
Yes, the
There's some
dynamic
type of
duo.
moniker there.
Dynamic,
I mean,
dynamic. I went surprisingly with Hall and Oates here, bud. Uh, Knew that was going to be a losing pick, but that's one that I was going to try and knock out was Batman and Robin, but
you were the one.
it was not meant to be.
Yeah, what's nice about these polls on Twitter is that you don't know the results until you vote on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that people can't just pile on to the loser to try to even it up every time.
Because you know some people
Yeah, I
would
mean,
be doing that.
oh, guaranteed. So when you move into the second round there, you see Sausage Gravy and Biscuits versus Batman and Robin, a 9 versus an 8. Probably where it should be. That'll be a tight matchup. And really all these second round matchups should be tight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one, we've got Bacon and Eggs versus Jay and Silent Bob. I can't say I'm surprised. Bacon and Eggs gets 71% of the vote, moves on. Jay and Silent Bob is gone. Are you a Jay and Silent Bob guy?
I totally am.
I'm totally not.
Snoochie Boochies. I'm a little heartbroken by this one, if I'm being perfectly honest, because my my side hustle and my side piece on this one was gonna be a hope for a Jay and Silent Bob versus Cheech and Chong battle, with how the bracketing was paired off here. If Jay and Silent Bob had pulled it out and then pulled out their second round, and Cheech and Chong pulled out their first round and their second round, buddy, we would have Jay and Silent Bob versus Cheech and Chong. And tell me that doesn't sell fucking tickets.
You know, there was some thought put into the matchups here in that first round to try to get two sides of the same coin. Milk and Cookies versus Pen and Paper, that was set up as the squash match of the tournament. But Fish and Chips versus Bread and Butter was a UK versus America matchup, and America wins in a basically what's a time limit draw. But the next one was Sausage Gravy and Biscuits versus Ben and Jerry's, was savory versus sweet. And then we get Hall and Oates, which is soft, versus Batman and Robin, which is hard. And Batman and Robin makes it. But this one was kind of a junk matchup. This was shit. Somebody's got to go here, and a bit of a mismatch. Not a sexy matchup there. And I mean, it's Jay and Silent Bob. It's love them or hate them. They're pretty polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
You either think they're genius or that they're completely stupid. And I tend to lean to the side of them being completely stupid. At least I did like them in Mallrats, and I liked them in Clerks, and that was it.
Clerks was.
Did I just burn your heart up?
No, because Mallrats and Clerks are probably my go-tos for the Jay and Silent Bob films. Those are so I'm here for it. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll concede. I'll give a little bit of room there. You know, we can meet on common ground there with Jay and Silent Bob, but they're done. And that was some fan service. That was for you guys. I thought that you would like that. I'm glad that you got to dream a little while there, but the dream is over. Jay and Silent
You
Bob are both
crushed the
gone.
dream match. You guys
The next
crushed the dream match. Go ahead.
the next one is the shocker of the tournament for me. I can't believe Monty Python and the Holy Grail beats Wake and Bake in a 21 versus 12 seed here. I thought Wake and Bake was clever. I thought that it deserved to be in the tournament after a second thought. It knocked Beavis and Butthead out of contention before they even got started, and Monty Python just wins it, 61% of the vote. I'm not a Monty Python guy. I
You
you
don't
know
like
how it
banging
goes.
coconuts together?
When you say the word Monty Python, the nerds start reciting all the lines, and it
Coconuts. Where do
drives
you
me
find
fucking
coconuts this time of
bonkers.
year? Um, I was kind of shocked by this one too. I voted Wake and Bake for obvious fucking reasons.
Me
Uh,
too.
and to see that Monty Python and the Holy Grail has advanced, it is rather shocking. But I'm also here for it because that could be a dark horse, another dark horse runner in this duos tournament to bust everybody's
I
brackets.
It really does seem that way, that they're the Cinderella story so far of the entire tournament.
I'm saying,
And
every tournament's got
you
one,
know,
buddy.
maybe that's just our audience. I thought that they were all stoners, but maybe they're just all nerds, and that's okay.
I've said it
That's
for
our
years,
people.
bud. We're all nerds telling stories. I've said it for years.
That's right. That's right. So I think we're going to learn a little bit about ourselves in this process here. And they go against bacon and eggs in the next round. That'll be telling.
I don't
I
think
don't
it's
know.
going to be
I don't know
telling
how
at
that's going
all.
to go.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that Monty Python and the Holy Grail will advance over Bacon and Eggs.
I
And
think you're
now,
right.
and now, if they do not, it's just because people hate me and they're going to vote opposite what I say.
That's
So,
true. That's what I'm going to do.
so they hate you too. So you say you're going for Bacon and Eggs, and I'll say I'm going for Monty Python, and then we'll see who's the most hated.
That's, that's right. The next matchup is the main event of the entire card, I think, here. Scooby and Shaggy versus Cheech and Chong, which I thought was a genius matchup that would really tell the story of a a stoner duo for kids versus a stoner duo for adults. I think this is really reminiscent of just how great your childhood was. If you had a great childhood, Scooby's where it's at. If you enjoy being an adult a lot more, maybe Cheech and Chong is where it's at. And Cheech and Chong runs away with it here, 57% of the vote. Did they get it right?
Yes, yes, they did. I voted Cheech and Chong. I've made no bones about it. I will vote Cheech and Chong until they are either eliminated and or win this tournament. Um, I, I feel like this is one way to that we as a community and as the listeners out there could put some goddamn respect on the name of Cheech and Chong, and winning this duos tournament is the way to go about it. So let your voices be heard, and continue to rock on in solidarity of Cheech and Tommy Chong.
You called it when we were laying out this
I
bracket
sure
that
did.
Cheech and Chong would go far. My
I did.
opinion was that people wouldn't recognize who they were, that they'd be dead in the water, on arrival. I was wrong. I'm not afraid or ashamed to admit
Yep.
it.
Go
You
ahead
were
and
you were
hang
correct.
on. Let me pull. Can I pull the ring out and put the ring on and shine it so you can kiss the ring on that one?
You want to isolate that little snippet there, make a YouTube short. I was wrong. Chris Page was right.
We
It
are gonna
finally
make a short.
happened.
We are gonna make a short out of that. There's proof.
So let's move on.
Yep.
The next matchup I thought was another genius matchup. Romeo and Juliet versus Netflix and Chill. And I cannot believe that Romeo and Juliet won as the 29 seed versus number 4 Netflix and Chill.
Man,
Yeah, I guess our audience, romantics at heart,
you had
went
high
with Romeo and
hopes.
Juliet.
You had high hopes for Netflix and Chill. You actually, I
Oh,
think last week called it as the arguable favorite to possibly win it all, and
yeah.
they fucking shut your mouth and said no, no, ma'am, not today. Uh,
You know,
Netflix and
my
chill's
bracket
out.
and my entire bracket and my balls have been busted all in one swift kick here, thanks to our audience. So thanks for nothing, everybody, making me look like a fool on my own show. But
I
this gives me hope for humanity here, rooting for love instead of just hooking up.
Story time. Are you ready? Uh,
Give it to me.
this is the one vote when I cast it and it popped up and it populated and I saw the results as it was, made me giggle because Netflix and chill was down, and all I could think was upset city. Here we come. We're gonna bust Sauce's brackets in the first fucking round because he called this team to win. That's what happens when you're hated. See?
Was upset. I was like physically upset, like shaking, like these motherfuckers. I cannot believe it.
You shouldn't have came out and said that they were your go-to.
Well, you gotta put your heart out there, and
Well, they stomped
I
on it,
wish
buddy,
on a
because Romeo and
yeah,
Juliet are going to advance.
yeah, yes they have. Well, they got their work cut out for them against Cheech and Chong in the next round.
I feel
I
like
think we know where that's gonna go.
I think it's gonna. You know what? I think it's gonna be a good one. I think you're maybe selling it a little too short.
Would you rather be in love or would you rather be stoned?
I personally would rather be stoned and in love, and kind of am. But
Well, you only get one or the other in this case, so let's see what our audience believes in.
all right,
Okay, now we go to the other side of the bracket. And maybe we save this for our second video. What do you say?
I say, I say, I do think that we should cut it here for the day and come back tomorrow and get this rounded out and get this finished out. Um, I'm here for it. So, what do you want to say, Sauce? What do you want to say in closing?
Well, I want to say it's been a great journey so far, learning a lot about our audience here. The first half of the bracket here had some surprises. The second half certainly has some surprises as well. If you're watching this video right now, the polls are open for the next rounds of this tournament. So please go to Twitter and vote on those, and give us your opinion. What should be in the tournament that didn't make it? So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching Over the Top in our best duos bracket. I've been Saucy. Thanks for coming around. And Chris, why don't you take us home?
Go ahead and drop down and hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave a comment. We are always here to hear what you have to say. Our channel's kind of based around the listeners and the content that we provide. We're going to be back tomorrow without John Cable, so sorry, John, but we'll catch you next week to get this finished out. This is Over the Top Network. That's the Sauce Boss. I'm Chris Page. We'll be back tomorrow morning, and you guys have a great day.